All right, what do you got?
Well, first was the outsourcing tax collection. I put together 3 scenarios. The first page is what the school district provided. Shows a $5,000 savings each year. The second page shows, the 3 scenarios. Scenario 1, the only way you'd save that $5,000 per year is you'd have to eliminate that position. And again, that's the only way you could save that money. Scenario 2 is outsourcing with the employer retained, and that would cost the city an additional $65,000 because you don't have the school piece and you have nobody helping to pay that salary. Right now, the school pays 64% of the salary. So with that being, gone, you would lose that. And last is to stay with the status quo. Basically, the cost of the collection in the cities is $13,000.
Okay, well, so let's see.
No, I'm not going through them fast. So that's
okay. Wait a minute. Well, let's look at this a little bit differently because up until now, we've only been collecting $18,000. Is that what it was last year?
Let's see. There was, you mean as far as we were charging the...
We were charging the school district about
$18,000.
About $18,000
Say
a year.
$18,000, which really wasn't relevant to cost.
Well, I understand that, but we had been retaining that employee without the $45,000 that you're proposing. We didn't have.
Right, it was costing an additional $25,000.
So,
my point was to bring it up to the relevant cost today.
right, but I guess if we look at what we've been paying for the last 5 years, it's been around $18,000.
4 years.
4 years. It's been around $18,000.
Before that, the 5th year from ago, they were paying $50,000.
Right. So for the past 4 years, we've been paying $18,000.
Right.
Right?
It's gone down. It started at whatever and it went down each year.
Yeah, but it doesn't have what the years before.
But the thing is, though, the council was never part of that, of being in agreement with that, from what I understand.
Well, but I guess,
So we're just
yeah,
trying to save some money back here.
right, but I guess my point is that we've only been getting $18,000 from the school district.
Right.
Up until, for the last 4 years.
Right.
So how have we been covering that position?
You've been eating $25,000 each year.
Does she do anything else?
Whenever she's free, she'll help with the window and stuff like that, but not enough to retain her. And I mean, the bulk of her work really is taxes.
Is there something else that she could be doing?
Not really. That's the problem. I mean, if there was, because I thought you brought that up, and I looked.
What
at
about?
Wasn't that my question last time? Is this going to cost? And you said there was always stuff to be done.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't answer.
What about don't we have a part-timer?
We have part-timers at the transfer station.
I mean, couldn't we eliminate the part-time position? And I mean, I have a real problem, whether it's our taxes or the school district taxes. It's our taxpayers where we could save them a total of about $150,000 to $175,000 a year. I have a problem not doing that.
Well, the other issue is the fact as far as service goes. Right now, they got service 5 days a week. With Berkheimer, they have no service. With the proposal from Dan, there's nobody working the window. So that means you've got to mail it in. Now, if you talk to Berkheimer, they would, supply the tape 2 days a week. But now you're providing, if you look at the bottom, I have the numbers there, that between 800 and 1,000 people come in and pay their taxes in person.
Each year?
Each year. And then actually, it's probably a little closer to It's probably a little higher than 1,000, but I was being conservative on a number.
And how do you track that?
Well, we track it, Donna tracks that.
So you have like something we could see?
I'd have to ask her what she used to give me that number.
I mean, I'd like to see.
I mean, I don't know if she has individual names or, I mean, she obviously has a way of tracking because she gave me the number. But obviously I don't think she has a list of names that Joe Smo comes in and, you know, Mary Sue doesn't.
I think, you know, I think we've got to start thinking outside the box here and figure out a way, because, I mean, if we're paying a part-timer, so
Well, most of the part-timers for transfer.
I know that, but
I'm
that's still a
saying-
city employee, and it's still somebody that we're paying for.
But I mean, you're not paying them for down here is what I mean.
I understand, but do we need a part-time person? Then maybe we don't need a part-time person, and we reorganize the way we do things down here so that, you know, we have somebody at the transfer station. I just think it's fiscally irresponsible for us to not to not take advantage of this tax
If it's
benefit.
outsourced to Berkheimer,
Berkheimer, Keystone, Jordan, whoever.
can you still pay by check?
You
Yes.
can only pay by mail.
Okay. Or online?
Or
If they take online, I'm not sure.
you
Depends on who
can
they are.
contract with them. I mean, they'll come in, you know, they'll pick a
Well, the
day a
only
week or
reason I was
whatever.
asking that was, I thought Berkheimer was almost all online, because you
No,
do
you can
something.
pay by check.
And I was.
The other thing
people
is,
were doing
we've got
that.
time, so, I mean, because this doesn't take effect until July 1st of next year.
Right.
So I think it might be beneficial to us to get some quotes from Berkheimer, Keystone, that include, you know, them being here a day a week or 2 days a week. And then start thinking of some ways. I mean, like, I know, for example, right now, I know that with Beth being off, I know there's a lot of work over at the police department, because I talked to Jim, that isn't getting done.
Yeah, and then, but Jim would also tell you that, and I'm not arguing that point. My point is that her job, is she has to be certified to do fingerprinting.
Not to do
stuff.
filing, there's 6 months worth of
No,
filing.
I
that
meant
has
she
to
do
be done.
fingerprinting and stuff like that.
No, I understand that, I guess what I'm saying is, you know, everybody doesn't need to live in a silo, okay? And you know, I only do this, and I only do that. I mean, we've got to get smarter and more efficient in the way we do things, and I just can't, in my heart, justify spending $150,000 to $175,000 of the taxpayers' money, because we
How
can't.
is it that much?
Well, there's
I
a,
can't imagine that person's salary is anywhere near.
No, she's
It's
saying
not.
the school district can save $40,000 each year by not paying us, and there's additional savings. in
actually,
addition to that.
where's their,
And so I didn't copy that slide because.
well, that's important, because that's,
Well,
I mean,
it didn't have, the
it's-
copier wasn't working right.
it's
I'm
our,
right here.
I mean, it may be the school district's budget, but our taxpayers, you know, pay, so, yeah, this isn't it, oh, there it is. Yeah, their savings over 4 years is $157,000. And again, you know, we didn't do any competitive bidding or anything. This was just what Berkheimer had given them. So I know Youngstown is doing away with their tax collector, because I think she's retiring or something. And I know, but they're going to Berkheimer. No, they're going to Keystone. They're going to
This is,
Keystone.
yeah, Keystone, Berkheimer, and Jordan.
Yeah,
The
so,
other factor, if we do the bidding, if you want to do that, is we gotta look at the LST and the nuisance tax.
right, because I understand they'll do all of them.
Yeah, like I said, when they first started years ago, when they were forced to take the EIT, they would not take over the LST and other things, but they've changed their style now.
So, I mean, you know, we've got time. I think we need to just do a little bit more research on it, because,
I think what I would need to see to understand is what exactly is that person's salary per year, and how many hours do they work, and how much of that time is devoted to tax collection.
Pretty much.
And if the city, or if you're looking at saving money for the school district, which ultimately is the city, taxpayer money. If they're giving us 40,000 and that exceeds her salary, why couldn't they give us less?
Well, they have been giving us less.
So, but that's what I need to, I'm not seeing that picture here.
Yeah,
Well,
because
they-
I don't think we have a very good way of capturing it. I guess I find it a little difficult to believe. I mean, we do taxes, you know, twice a year. Your taxes come out twice a year. And I believe, my guess would be, just by the nature of municipalities, that the way we do it is pretty antiquated and labor intensive. So there's all kinds of more efficient ways to do things, you know?
Right.
I mean, we're still talking about, you know, 3 sheets of paper and everything, so, yeah, I mean, I guess if you're saying that her whole job is tax collecting, then I guess it's the breakdown of what percentage of taxes does she collect for the city and what percentage does she collect for, and maybe that's how you're figuring it?
Well,
That's
how
it.
is her time spent? I mean, you know,
Her time, what it is, her budgeted salary is 54,000. Her benefits are 6,500. We have usually about 10,000 in supplies for that office. So the total is about 70,000 in round numbers. So 64% of that is where you come up with the 45,000. Now, the truth is, there are days and there are times through the year that all of us are stuffing envelopes, not just her. Not in fact, I wasn't trying to take the cold.
See my point? I mean, there's.
yeah, I do see.
And also, I mean, so you're gonna save right off the bat, you're gonna save about $10,000 in supplies.
But we've looked at outsourcing the envelopes, producing and stuffing, and they cost us more money. We have looked at that recently.
And is there a software package that?
She's using a
tax-
software package.
I mean, I agree with the saving of the money, but again, that's a substantial income for a human being that, you know, if we're just eliminating her job, are there ways to keep it and get up to speed?
I mean, you know, I look at it as, you know, we may be able to eliminate a part-time position and assume that responsibility. And for the past 4 years, we've only been getting $18,000.
Yeah.
And we haven't suffered. So, I don't know, it's a lot of money to,
It is a lot of money. I mean, that's.
yeah, so you're gonna save
I'm
$10,000
not sure.
in supplies right off the bat.
I mean, would maybe question the salary of that position if you're talking somebody who's just
That,
That's
pulling
a union
in.
position.
and that number that he referenced, that's not what she's earning. That's
The
all of the
54.
employment-related costs as well as our benefits.
Yeah, 54.
It's not 54 plus 65, or it is 54 plus 65?
The 65 is the benefits, but that
Is it?
54 is inclusive of the employment taxes and things of that nature, which are,
So it's her gross?
yeah.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, and the benefits are you know, it's like 6,500, which is health, dental, and eye. Now, it's the position, all of the staff, union staff, are paid the same salary.
What do the rest of you guys think? You want to,
I think it's something that needs looked at real hard before you bring its cost onto the city. And I don't want to see a job eliminated either. I know Dan Watson, I don't know the fellow himself, but I know he's trying to do the best for the school district. And in my eyes, we need to do the best for the city of Latrobe.
I think we have a responsibility to all of our taxpayers.
I agree with that.
And, you know, regardless, I mean, this saves our taxpayers in the city money too, because
Do they ever
$150,000.
increase, so if we bring a company in at a certain rate, do they increase what they're
I
going to
would
charge us
imagine,
after a
there's,
while?
I would imagine, but there's also, you know, our employees get about a 3% pay raise every year too, so.
Yeah, and that's factored into the numbers, the 3%.
And whatever council does decide to do, I'm going to need at least a month of lead time.
Yeah.
Because our code book is predicated on having a physical person who's an employee, and there's a pay structure in there. There's a variety of things in the code book that I would need to change. They'd have to be done by way of ordinance and advertised prior to passage, so I'd need some time. The decision would have to be made if this is going to go into effect on July 1. Really, the decision would have to be made at the latest at the May meeting.
Well, I think we need to talk to Berkheimer and Keystone and get a quote from them on what it would cost. And I think, that should probably be the finance committee along with Wayne, meeting with them. What it would cost to, what they would charge us. And
There was some talk about this employee retiring. Is she due to retire?
Well, she's old enough to retire, and I'm sure in probably within another year or so. I can't say, believe me, I can't, let me back up on that year or so thing. Within this period of time, she's going to retire.
So it's not planned?
No, not that I know of anyway. I mean, I'm usually the last one to know.
Would we be able to offer her like some kind of incentive, like an early retirement package to?
We'd have to look at the collective bargaining agreement. We wouldn't want to commit any unfair labor, unfair employment practices.
You'd have to, if you did that, but to that point, if you did that, you'd have to offer it across the board to all employees. Because that's how you would.
not when you're doing a job elimination, but, I mean, she would have the seniority maybe to bump someone. I don't know. We'd have to look at that.
Oh, she can bump someone. She has seniority. Not, you were talking about like a buyout package.
Yeah.
That's got to be offered to the.
Well, I'm talking about
Elimination.
when you do a job elimination.
Well, she would bump. She would have the opportunity to bump if she chooses to.
I mean, I just think, I think there are, I mean, what are we paying? We're paying a part-timer about $20 an hour, 18?
The same rate just did for half the time, so it'd be that they get half of 54, so it was a.
So there's $25,000 savings there, plus the attendance supplies. I mean, I don't know. I think it needs more information. I'd like to see the data that, about the number of people come in here. I'd like to see, because if Berkheimer charges to come in one day a week, that's going to increase the cost. So.
I'd like to hear what the public has to say. I mean, me personally, I like to wait till the last day to pay my taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I pay the fall taxes in three installments.
Mm-hmm.
What's that going to do?
Yeah, I don't think any of that changes, but those are all the questions that I think it has to be postmarked by the last day and all that kind of stuff.
You can't come in on the last day at 3:30.
But you can go to the post office and get it postmarked on the last day. So, I mean, those are all the kind of questions that I think we need to ask Berkheimer, and Dan couldn't be here tonight, but he's more than willing to come and answer any of the questions that you guys might have. Okay.
Moving on?
Yep.
All right. In your packets, the current 2018 budget in draft form would need to be voted on at the December meeting. So everybody's got a copy of that.
It's already been advertised as available for inspection.
The real estate millage will stay the same for 2018. It's 21.5, which is 21.3 for real estate and 0.2 for library. So it's the same as it has been since 2011, I believe. Well, actually, the library's been since 1956.
Yeah.
That'll be advertised as the same, though. No change. Let's see, we're at the approval of disorderly house ordinance.
That's the ordinance that we've been working on for the past couple of months to address repeat calls by law enforcement to premises. I've provided everyone with an updated copy of it at their desks. This is not an ordinance that has to be advertised prior to passage, so provide any comments that you'd like to me over the next couple of weeks. If they're appropriate, I can incorporate the changes and circulate the same to council. If council would like to take a little more time to look at it. It can be looked at in January as well. The one thing that I wanted council to be aware of is we talked about, if there is, a conviction under this new chapter for being a disorderly premises, that the city may revoke the occupancy permit issued for the premises. And after preparing this, I met with Ann Powell regarding the certificate of occupancy, and that's only issued on more recent properties, so that might not be the most effective tool that we could use. Only the newer properties would have it. But I did include a new subsection C in the violations and penalties section, permitting the city to file an appropriate action to abate the condition. I just want to bring that to council's attention.
Thanks, Seth. Okay.
All righty.
Questions on that right now?
Okay, the next is the approval of the hiring for a new city secretary. Hopefully, we're going to get personnel and come to a decision tonight. We have a couple candidates we've been looking at, and their backgrounds and references have been verified and checked. So I'd like to, hopefully, at the December meeting, have a city secretary hired.
Okay.
Okay, and this next is a review, this is a review of the Varnick subdivision, which Zach has to speak to.
This is essentially a lot line adjustment. There's a property along Jefferson Street where the owner of that property owns adjoining parcels. The property on Jefferson Street has a residence and then a garage on the parcel. Essentially what this subdivision is doing is removing the portion of the property where a garage is on it and joining it to the nearby property. That way the parcel on Jefferson Street will be solely residential, and that connecting parcel will be all commercial property and owned by the same person, that will be incorporated under the existing tax map number for that property. I believe it was approved by the Planning Commission last week.
Yeah. Unanimously approved by the Planning Commission.
Any questions on that?
Lastly is the schedule of meetings for 2018. I've got the tentative schedules, 2 pages. If you would look and see if I have a holiday scheduled there, let me know. My calendar didn't, I'm not sure if I caught every holiday. And then we'll advertise this will be approved at the December meeting and then advertise at that time.
So we're gonna try to meet the day after Christmas, is that what this is?
Yeah, I moved it over because you've got the 24th and 25th are both holidays, so I moved it to the 26th.
Next year.
Next year.
Maybe this year.
Yeah, that was the only one I spotted that would be a real issue. The rest of them I think are okay, but then chances are the council dinner will end up bumping one of them or something.
That's fine. I received a thank you card from the American Legion on behalf of the officers and members of Post 515. I'd like to thank you for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance for the 2017 Veterans Day service. And I would also like to thank the City of Latrobe and its employees for the services provided for the parade. From the commander. Anybody have anything else? We'll go to the order. Wayne, you can have the staff.
How did the festivities go Friday?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do the parade because I wanted to watch it with my grandchildren, so I wasn't in it, so we got to watch the parade.
Why wasn't the Latrobe High School band in it again this year?
They have a conflict, or they don't want to do it, I'm not sure what the reason is, but Derry called us and they wanted to do it, so Derry led thanks to Derry Area High School for leading Santa in.
They're
Nice-
invited every year.
Nice
They're invited.
crowd of people. Rogers Park was packed.
And Santa Claus, look at the real Santa Claus.
He did,
That
he
picture
really
that's in the
did.
paper,
Yeah, I got
he
a
looked
great
like-
picture of him with my granddaughters. And they were lined up to the Art Center. They start and line up the back way up Main Street, and they were lined up to the Art Center. So I think it was, I don't know how the bonfire went. I didn't get down to the bonfire, so.
It didn't set anything on fire, so I guess it went well.
Yeah, so,
Any thoughts on making it Saturday instead of Friday?
Dude, it was picked, I don't know, I don't even really remember why. Oh, I know what it was, that was when the radio station did their Santa.
the radio station always does, they've been doing Santa in the park since
Right.
forever.
That's why we did the
Friday,
same day.
Black Friday, and the idea is that it brings,
It's kind of nice, it brings in people 2 days, because actually Saturday is, Small Business Saturday.
mhm.
So it's kind of a combination.
A lot of people work Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing, like I said, was the radio station. They wanted to stay with the same date that they use.
Yeah, they had, it was a lot of fun and well attended, and it was a beautiful day. And they blew the breaker at the art center, so or at the park, so they lost the music in the tree about a half an hour before the parade started. So I was able to get a hold of the foundation, and they sent their electrician over, and apparently they didn't blow a fuse, but there's a solar panel or something that got covered, and that's what blew the fuse. So they got it all back on and running before the kids. They had elves and everything. It was really, really, really a nice job they did. So tomorrow is, I think Friday's Alan Martello's last day.
No, Wednesday.
Or is it Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay, Wednesday or
They're having a
Thursday.
little get-together, and I forget
Sharkies.
where.
Sharkies.
Yeah, I
For
got the
Sharkies, okay.
invite today, yeah. So,
Yeah, it's a shame, Dylan's been a very good asset.
yeah. So we'll see what happens next. Anything else? Anybody have anything else? All right. See you in a couple of weeks.
Don't forget about the party.
Don't forget about the party.